ॐ जयति जगति मायां यस्य कायादवस्थे वचनरचनमेकं केवलं चाकलय्य ध्रुवपदमपि यातो यत्कृपातो ध्रुवोऽयं सकलकुशलपात्रं ब्रह्मपुत्रं नतोऽस्मि. On Monday, we read up to verse 75. The third section of the third chapter starts from Sutra 74, and that contains practical hints for the workers to become real workers. And we go back to 74. Vado navalambyaha. Vad means argumentation. Avalambya means taking resort to. Na avalambya means argumentation is not to be taken resort to. Why? And that why is given in 25. Bahulyavakashatvat aniyatatvacha. Bahulya means many opinions. Avakashatvat, there is scope. Because there is scope for multifarious opinions on a particular subject. So argumentation cannot solve anything. Actually, everybody has his own level of discussion. Everybody has his own variety of discussion. And we cannot come to a common point. I will tell a funny Sanskrit proverb. In Sanskrit, there is a proverb, tender proverb. Vade vade jayate tattva bodha. That by vada, we come to the right consciousness. But somebody has replied to that. Vade vade jayate kanthashvasha. By argumentation, we only try our throats. No result comes. Because there is always scope for different opinions. Even to the extent that Narada told us when dealing with the Bhakti Lakshanas, that such a topic as Bhakti, where many people are common, but when they describe the Lakshanas, Nana Mataveda. So minds are different, arguments are different, and you cannot convince somebody by argument. My teacher told me the man has to come to the point of evolution where he can understand what we are talking. And so, by argument, you cannot convince anybody. And then, Aniyatatvacha, that we see, I was telling, in everyday TV debate. The anchor or the what we call moderator is never able to moderate. They are shouting in their own tones. And that person is trying to control this or that. Because there is no standard check on this. Now, we think sometimes erroneously that logic is a common thing. Bhagavan Vyasadeva, Badrayana Vyas, in his Brahma Sutra, has made a sutra, aphorism. What is his? Tarka Pratishthanat, Tarka Apratishthanat. It will be strange to many of you that logic has no base, he says. Logic has no base. As you like, you can turn the logic to any place. Same facts, if you see in the field of politics, long time back, I'm taking some names, not to criticize, but examples. There was one Manishankar Iyer. These days I do not know what has happened to him. For every general opinion, he has a reverse opinion. Then we had Digvijay Singh. So, for everything, they have a very different opinion. So, how can you find a common base? No control. Now, a psychological question I am raising here. Why is the tendency to debate? Why is the tendency to argue? Because God has given us reason. And in the modern age, it is increasing the importance of reason. So the question comes, if we are not to argue, how to use this reason? Can we stop reason? Not possible. We may not argue with others, but the faculty of reason cannot be stopped. Narada has a solution to this problem. Beautiful solution, constructive, positive solution of how to use the faculty of reason. What is that? Sutra 77. Oh, it has gone. Yes. Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. Tad Udbodhaka Karmani Karaniyani. Let's take the first part. Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. What is Manan? In English, the equivalent is reflection. That means you hear some truth from a Mahapurush or from the Shastras. Revise your thinking according to that truth. Don't try to impose your reasoning on scriptural truths. That is the bad tendency man has. About this Tarka Pratishana, Swami Vivekananda said, if you allow reason free, it will never stop below nihilism. It will prove that everything is zero. There is nothing in the world. That is the only place reason will take us. And in the Mandukya Karikas by Gaudapadacharya, Shankaracharya says in the commentary, we can criticize. What can reason do? I am telling you. Reason can disprove something which is wrong. That reason has the capacity. But reason has no capacity to build up something new. So there he says the duality of existence has been condemned by reason. Reason has shown the falsity of the duality of perception. And if you allow it free, it will show the falsity of Advaita perception also. That is what reason can do. So should we not use reason? Yes. Reason is to be used to understand what the scriptures are telling. Reason is to be used. Shankar says there, reason which supports scriptural argument teaching has to be used. So I put it in this way. The Rishi tells us something. We think how it can be true. You start like this. When the Rishi has said it has to be true. I'm not able to understand that. And try your best to understand that. That is the place of reason. You see, in our Aparukshanubhuti class, I am starting on that point. That, well, I do not want to discuss that. Let us reserve it for Aparukshanubhuti. But reason independent has no place. Reason independent, Swamiji says, will lead us to nihilism. Reason independent will destroy Advaitism. Reason has to be used. Corresponding reason according to Shastra has to be used. Now here what Narada is telling. Bhakti Shastrani Manani. And I'm first concentrating on the word Manan. Shastras are telling us something. And we are holding an opposite view. By our common sense, by our standard, by our level of evolution, we are not able to reach that height. And we use our reasons as this. Now, if you go by your reason, you will not be able to understand Shastras at all. So, Manana means changing our thinking process in the light of truth given by the Rishi. This is the exact definition of Manana. Manana means, this is what Vedantis tell us, I will add a little more. Our process of reasoning, our feeling, our sankalpa or action will all have to be revised according to the truth told by the rishis. That is called Manana. Your thinking, if you revise, you will find, oh, now I understand. That is what we are trying every day. Narada said this. How it will happen? Yes, in this way it will happen. That reason is valid. Now, where we have to use this? Bhakti Shastrani. Shastra means scriptures. Shastra means, please note down those words, meaning of Shastra. Infallible guidance. Shastra is infallible guidance. Authoritative guidance. That is called Shastra. Now, in English we say scriptures. Now, Bhakti Shastrani is the word. Because Shastra can be to give us guidelines if we are following the path of Jnana. There can be Shastra to help us if we are following the path of Karma or Yoga. Now, they may not be useful to us when we are traveling the path of Bhakti. But there will be scriptures, there will be Rishivakyas, there will be Shastras which guide us for our path on Bhakti. They are called Bhakti Shastras. Now, what are the Bhakti Shastras? I will tell you here a most important event of my life. Now, it comes from the previous generation, does not start with me. My Guruji, some people asked his name. Swami Bhaskareshwarananda, not Bhaskarananda, not Bhaswarananda, not Bhaskarananda. Swami Bhaskareshwarananda, the first president of Ramakrishna Math, Nagpur. He was the president there 1928 to 1976. He was a disciple of, take any name you like, Mahapurush Maharaj. He was very close to Mataji. He has learned his Nirvikalpa Samadhi from Swami Turiyananda, etc., etc. Now, on Mataji's prompting, he went to Mahapuruji. And Mahapuruji told him, he had some question to ask. Mahapuruji replied to that question and gave scriptural evidence in support of his reply. And then he said, my son, you will have to study Upanishads. He was a student of philosophy and psychology in the college. But when Mahapurush Maharaj said, my son, you have to study Upanishads, what he replied, you know, Maharaj, what is the use of that ghata and pata? You remember, Vedantic arguments, always there is a ghata, a jar, and pata means cloth. Now, cloth is made of fibers, jar is made from earth, and these are always used in the arguments, Vedantic arguments. So he says, Maharaj, what is the use of studying that ghata and pata? Is the main thing not to love God? Mahaprabhuji replied, my son, what you say is perfectly true. The main thing is to love God. But remember, even love has a scripture. You cannot develop in love subjectively. You cannot love a person as you like. Love has a scriptures, Mahaprabhuji is telling. And he's telling, take it from me, Rishivakya. Upanishads are the best Bhakti Shastras in the world. Upanishads are the best Bhakti Shastras in the world. This is what Mahaprabhuji told my Guruji. Now I will tell you the effect of those things. I learned all my scriptures from my Guruji or from one of his disciples. I did not know any other explanation of the scriptures. I thought me that is true also. That is the explanation of the scriptures. Now it so happened that my friend Ranjit Maharaj, his name was Swami Prabhakarananda. He was the head of the Gadadhar Ashram in Calcutta. He invited me to Gadadhar Ashram and asked me to give a talk on the Upanishads in Bengali. My first Bengali lecture in my life. Anyway, now he did not appoint anybody as president. So he himself was like presiding. After my lecture, he said in Bengali, আজকে আমরা উপনিষদের ভক্তিমূলক ব্যাখ্যা শুনলাম. Today we have heard bhakti-rooted explanation of Upanishads. That was the point when I understood that this is Bhakti Mulak. Means I understood that there is other Mulak. I understood that some people, when they explain the Upanishads, Bengali word is coming to my mind, what Jnana Chachadi they do, I do not know. What mixture of dry arguments they use, I do not know. That was the explanation which I heard. And that is what has sustained me throughout my life. Even my life and my talks, all are based upon that. So, it was from Mahaprabhuji. He told my son, Upanishads are the best Bhakti Shastras in the world. I want to discuss this a little. How and why? Now, Brahman by nature, we cannot describe in the nature, but he is Nirgun Saguna Brahma. Sagun Nirgun Brahma or Nirgun Sagun Brahma, if you like to call it. Now, if those who emphasize Nirgun Brahma more, Bhakti does not develop at all. And those who insist upon Saguna Brahma, Bhakti will not reach the perfection at all. Bhakti cannot reach its perfection or fulfillment if you discuss only Saguna Brahma. And Bhakti will not be born at all if you are discussing only Nirguna Brahma. Now look at the Upanishads. Some days back I used to say that if Upanishad gives one mantra on Nirgun Brahma, it is followed by 10 mantras giving Sagun Brahma, remember. But nowadays I have discovered new thing. That mantra which Upanishad is telling about Nirgun Brahma itself contains Sagun Brahma. I will give an example. Mundaka Upanishad says, Yattat Adreshyam Agrayam Ityadi Ityadi Tad Bhuta Yonim Paripashyanti Dhira. That which is beyond everything, the wise people see it as the source of the world. That people see that it is the creator of the world. Is it not Saguna Brahma? Ishwar as Srishti Pralaykarta is what we call Saguna Brahma. So in the same mantra where Nirguna is described, Saguna is given. Unfortunately, talk as you like. For his own reason, depending upon the need of the time perhaps, Shankaracharya has emphasized Nirguna Brahma. And this has made many people wrongly understand that Nirguna Brahma is the only description. From Shankar Bhashya, I got two places. Ishopanishad, 8th mantra. A few days back, I explained that. Shankar introduces that as saying, now we are describing the Swarup of Brahma. And in that there are two words, Paribhu, Swayambhu. If Shankar had wanted to show that Sagun Brahma is lower, it was very easy. Pari means Samantat. Pari means from all sides. Paribhu means all pervading Brahma. And Swayambhu is generally used for Nirguna Brahma. But see Shankar's Bhashya there. It is we feel as if Shankar is talking or Sri Ramakrishna is talking. Pari is equal to Upari, Shankar says. Pari means above. And so, that which is above all, that which is beyond all. And what is Swayambhu? Those who want to take down, please write this sentence from Shankar Bhashya on the 8th mantra of the Ishopanishad. Sanskrit I am talking, huh? Yasya upari bhavati, yasya upari bhavati, yascha upari bhavati, yascha upari bhavati, sa swayameva bhavati iti swayambhu. From that, something is above. And that which is above. From that, from which something is above, and something which is above, both he himself becomes, that is Swayambhu. Swayambhu means he himself becomes. He himself becomes what? The world and Brahman above the world. Both he himself becomes. That is Swayambhu. So Saguna Brahma comes as Swayambhu there. And this is the one place which is best to tell Shankar's idea of Nirguna Saguna. Other places also I found. For example, now, Yajnavalkya is describing to Gargi the nature of Brahman. 19 negative as used, 19 negatives. Astula Madano, Rasuma Dirgama, Kayam, Alohitam, etc. etc. And then he says, it is under this Aksharasya Prashasana Gargi, Surya Chandramaso Vidruto Tirikata. The sun and moon work under his command, Gargi. Some rivers flow to the east, some to the west. It is under his command, Gargi. Like that, he goes on telling this Saguna Brahma nature. Anyway, enough for that point. So we come back to this. We were thinking of Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. Our thinking should be colored by, our thinking should be revised by Bhakti Shastras. This is the use of our intelligence. The use of reason or tarka is to revise our tarka in the light of scriptures. Bhakti Shastrani. In the light of scriptures, talking of bhakti, we have to revise our thinking, feeling, will, everything. How to revise our will? I will give an example. We are working and we think we are working. We are serving people and we think we are serving people. We are compassionate to people. Sri Ramakrishna said, not compassion. Service of the jivas with the consciousness that they are Shiva. This is the revision. This is whole system of sankalpa or willpower is totally revised by this one statement. We see Jiva, but the scriptures are telling everybody is Shiva. We don't see it. Anyway, but with the knowledge that he is Shiva, you have to survey Jiva. This is the revision of our willpower. Revision of our feelings. We feel attachment to somebody, hatred from somebody. You have to revise. If the reality is one only, then you have to love all equally. Your behavior may be different according to persons, but inside the love should be same for all. This is revision of our feeling and revision of our thinking completely. So, Bhakti Shastras, we have to, in the light of truth given by the Bhakti Shastras, we must revise our mind, that is manana. We must revise all our mental processes. Now, they are not the only scriptures. Please note down those who want to note down. Bhakti Shastrani, as far as I know, there may be many others. I first told you, Upanishads are the best Bhakti Shastras in the world. Number two, when we come to Bhagavad Gita, chapters 7 to 12 are Bhakti Shastras. Gita chapter 7 to 12 are Bhakti Shastras. So chapter 12 is given the name Bhakti Yoga, but 7 to 12 all are Bhakti Shastras. Then Bhagavatam is a great Bhakti Shastra. Srimad Bhagavatam is a great Bhakti Shastra. Then Narad Bhakti Sutra is the Bhakti Shastra. And similar to Narad Bhakti Sutra, there is a Shandilya Bhakti Sutra. That is Bhakti Shastra. I think I told you enough. Because many Puranas are there. But then you have to properly understand and follow the Puranas. Otherwise, Puranas sometimes may unnecessarily create a controversy. Otherwise, Puranas are Bhakti Shastras. All the Puranas are Bhakti Shastras. But enough for our life, if you can follow the Upanishads, Gita 7 to 12 chapter, Narad Bhakti Sutra, Bhagavatam Mahapuran, Narad Bhakti Sutra, Shandilya Bhakti Sutra, I think for our scripture that is enough. We can follow what these scriptures are telling us about Bhakti. Now, so that is how our power of thinking is being used. Our reasoning, our tarka should not be used for argumentation. There will be no end to that. But our argumentation or reason or tarka should be used to understand what the Bhakti Shastras are telling and to revise our thinking accordingly. That is the use of reason. Now we have another question. Narada, what to do? We have Karma Shakti. Bhakti is not the only Shakti in us. We have Karma Shakti. Reason, thinking, you have described how to use thinking. Now, what to use our Karma Shakti? Narada has a reply. Tat udbodhaka karmani karaniyani. In the most general way, is telling. Tat means bhakti. Udbodhaka, which rouse karmas, which rouse bhakti, should be done. Karmas which rouse bhakti should be done, performed. Now, what karmas rouse bhakti? How many? Now, puja is a karma which rouses bhakti. Singing is a karma which rouses bhakti. Listening to songs is a karma which rouses bhakti. Gardening can rouse bhakti if it is properly done for the sake of puja. Assisting in puja will rouse bhakti. I know a family where my Guruji had guided. There was puja and there was a garden and there was plucking flowers from the garden, making garlands. All this is helping bhakti. All this is rising bhakti in our life. Now, if you are serving people, Ramakrishna Mission is not a social service organization. Our work is rousing bhakti in us. I'll give an example, then you will understand. I have given this example, perhaps let me repeat it. In Nagpur Ashram, I am talking 1964, 63 or 64. Swamiji's complete works, when they were published, many books were published. And the publication department required a new building. It was constructed behind the public road in a different compound. Now suddenly the stock had also increased. The shifting of the stock from this room to that building was becoming like a project. And so many sadhus, brahmacharis were engaged. And Maharaj used to ask everyone, how far the progress like that. One evening, one sannyasi came and Maharaj asked him, how far the progress? He said, I have done my work. Maharaj roared like a lion. You have done your work? You have come here to do your work? Or you are doing Thakur's work? Then he wanted to tell perhaps that what was allotted to me I have done. So he said, what I mean. Maharaj did not allow him to complete his sense. What do you mean? You are committed to do your work or Thakur's work? Now, if this is our idea in work, will it not rise bhakti? So karma properly done, seva properly done will rouse bhakti. Now in Balram Babu's house, when the food was cooked, it was offered to God. But every Thakur is telling, Balram Babu, his wife, small children, everybody, before taking food, they will offer to God and then eat. Will this not rouse bhakti? So Narada has given in a very general way. If your karma shakti is there, tad udbodhaka karmani karaniyani. Those karmas should be performed which rouse bhakti. Remember, all this is for the Gaudi Bhaktas to become real Bhaktas. Huh? There he already has told karma drops away, fruit drops away, we read all that. This is the last section now. So, then more practical hints. Very important point. Sukha Dukkha 77. Sukha Dukkha Ichha Labhadi Takte Kale Pratikshamane Kshanardamapi Vartam Naneyam. A Saptami is used in Sanskrit for showing a condition. All the words are put in Saptami. Kale Pratikshamane. Kal means death. Kal means death only here. Time is waiting. Time we say. Pratikshamane. Time is waiting. Without considering your pleasure or pain, without considering your desires or your labha, without considering your feeling. Time is waiting to pick you up. Time is waiting to pounce upon you. It will not wait. Wait, I have to do this, then you take me. It cannot wait for your sukha, dukkha, ichha, labha, any other feeling in you. It is simply waiting for its chance to pick you up. This is the condition. Huh? This being so, don't waste even half a second. Narada is telling, don't waste Shanardham api, half a second. Vyartham naneya. Don't spend unnecessarily. You understand this point? Because time is wait. I will tell a story on this point. In Maharashtra, there was a saint Eknath, a householder saint. Opposite to house, in front of his house, an ordinary man's house was there. And that ordinary man thinks in his mind, I think so many times I should do this good work and that good work, but I never do. And if I see this man always engaged in doing something good also. So what is the secret I want to know? So he went to Eknathji and said, Maharaj, what is the secret? You always do good work, I never do. He said, that I will tell you later. Suddenly it has come to my mind that we will die on the 8th day. Now the man went back to his house. On the 8th day, he thought it is the last day. So I will go and go down to the set. So he went to Eknathji. Eknathji, tell me now, in these last 8 days, what bad work you have done and what good work you have done. He said, Maharaj, not even a single bad word. I have been doing good works continuously because I know after 8 days I am dying. Eknath said, that is our secret. We know death comes at any point, and so we are doing good works always. So, the secret of doing good work, in Sanskrit there is a shloka, those words. Ajara maravat pradnyo vidyam artham cha chintayet. Ajara maravat pragyo vidyam artham cha chintayet. Gruhita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharmam acharet. When one is pursuing knowledge, means secular knowledge, and money, one should think he will live eternally. Ajara amaravat, I will not become old, I will not die. Thinking like this, he can pursue his knowledge or money. But when he is pursuing dharma, he should think that death has held my tuft of hair. Death is already ready to pull me. Gruhita eva kesheshu mrityuna dharma machare. So Narada is telling Shanardam api virtam naneyam. Then ahimsa, satya, shaucha, daya, astikyadi charitrani paripalaniyani. This is what I was wrongly referring. This is 16th chapter of the Gita, Devi Sampatti. Now in the Devi Sampatti you will find first shloka Abhayam Sattva Shunshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. That is not true because that does not directly refer to bhakti. But second shloka onwards, ahimsa, satya, shaucha, all these are described. So Adi means you take the second and third shloka of the 16th chapter of the Gita as character merits. Character merits which will bring bhakti in our life. So, paripalaniyani, we must carefully practice these merits. Ahimsa, satya, shaucha, cleanliness, daya, astikya. Astikya means God or transcendental truths exist even if I do not see them. Adi, charitrani paripalaniyani. Next. Sarvada, sarvabhavena nischintai, Bhagwan eva bhajaniya. As a result of this teaching up till now, we should understand every time we should be nischinta. Don't bother about the world. Don't worry about the world. He has already told us. Always, in every way, be nischinta and worship God only. Be devoted to God only in every possible way, always, without worrying about your life in the world. Then only you can become real bhaktas. We have already seen that. In the previously has given this hint. Don't think of Yogakshema and all that. So here, after telling that, you should not waste half a second and you should continuously observe the good traits of the mind which generate bhakti in you. Then he say, only Bhagavan is to be worshipped, becoming free in the mind, always and in all subjects. Then all this is what we should do, we should do, we should do, we should do. We are asking Narada, God will not do anything for us. So Narada will tell now what God will do. So Kirtemana, 80 Sutra. So Kirtemana, Shigram eva avirbhavati, Anubhavayati cha bhakta. Kirtemana. When we are praising God, when we are devoted to God, in that condition, quite soon he will say, quite soon, he will reveal himself to you. He will reveal himself to you. He will come before you. If he comes before me, how to understand he has come before me? He says he will make you experience also. He will reveal himself to you and he will make you experience that it is God has come. So this is what God will do. If you are devoted to God without any anxiety in the world, God will himself reveal to you and don't worry, he will make you understand that God has come before you. There is a story on this point. Many stories are there. There is a place called Chitrakoot. You must have heard that. In the couplet I am telling. चित्रकूट के घाट पर भई संतन की भीड़ तुलसीदास चंदन घिसे तिलक देत रघुवीर. Tulsidas is busy in serving people. He is putting sandal paste on everybody's head. And Rama himself came before him to put the sandal paste. Hanuman came at that time and told Tulsi, Are your Rama has come. This is one example. So, God will not only come before you, but He will see that you experience. You need not bother about Him. You do your work. You do praising God. You do bhakti. Don't calculate how many days I will have to do. Quite soon God will come to you. And He will reveal Himself to you and He will make you experience also that God has come. This is God will do. Now, we are coming to the last sutra of third chapter. Iti satyasya bhaktireva gariyasi, bhaktireva gariyasi. This has been slightly misinterpreted in some books. There is a something in Sanskrit or in Bengali also, Trisatya Koreanili. That means somebody made Holy Mother promise 3 times. This is not that, huh? No. Trisatyasya Bhakti. Trisatyasya Bhakti cannot yield this meaning. Trisatya means that which is truth in past, that which is truth in present, that which is truth in future is God alone. The reality, one without a second, only qualifies under this category. Now, when we are devotees by this God, that goddess, that God, hundreds of things you are devoted. That bhakti is not real bhakti. Devoted to one without a second God, who is beyond the divisions of time, that bhakti alone is gariyasi, means greater. The bhakti towards the absolute truth, that is what Narada is preaching up till now. So he's concluding his teaching now. So he's telling that bhakti, in the beginning he had told inner self. Bhakti which is towards the truth unchanging, bhakti which is towards the truth, which is not affected by past, present and future, that bhakti alone is superior to all other bhaktis. And then he says, Bhakti Reva Gariyasi. Repetition is told to give more importance as well as to close the chapter. This bhakti should not be separated. Trisatyasya Bhakti Reva Gariyasi, Trisatyasya Bhakti Reva Gariyasi. Second time Trisatya is not used. That is how we have to think. We have come to the conclusion of Narada Bhakti Sutra Bhatt. 3 chapters we have finished, but there is something called conclusion, Upasamhar, conclusion of the teachings of Narada. Next time, please. Next Monday, we hope to complete Narada Bhakti Sutra study. And 3 sutras are left in the conclusion portion, important, equally important sutras, that we shall study next Monday. Today we could have done one thing more detailed, but that I leave to you. Ahimsa, Satya, Shaucha, Daya, Astikya. The importance of each quality I could have told you, but better read the 16th chapter of the Gita and find out for yourself. So now we are at the end, and as already announced, I am announcing again that we hope to complete the study of Narada Bhakti Sutras on coming Monday, and from Wednesday onwards, we will be dealing with Aparokshanubhuti by Shankaracharya, and we will be having class only twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. The reason also I told last time that university's academic session has already started, and so many online classes they are conducting. So our classes will be held twice a week only, Wednesdays and Fridays, starting from Wednesday next, Aparokshanubhuti, and we will try to see how many books by Shankaracharya we can study. Om Jayati Jagati Maya Yasya Kaya Davaste Vachana Rachana Mekam Kevalam Chakalaya Dhruvapadamapi Yato Yat Krupato Dhruvoyam Sakala Kushala Patram Brahmaputram Natosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna.